Smallfolk from Roc Nest Games is a game where you'll be building out a tableau, moving around the map to get more cards and play more cards and get some victory points. All that in the hopes to have the greatest story, i.e. the most victory points when the game end is triggered. Well, how does it all play? Stick around, I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to tell you who I think might want to back this. Let's get into how to play Smallfolk. I'm going to say first off, this is a prototype copy. All elements are not final. Make sure to check out the Kickstarter page to see where they are at and what everything finally will look like. So you are going to put out the main board in the center of the table. You are going to shuffle the story cards. You are going to deal out 5 underneath the board. This will be considered the tapestry. You're going to put the rest of the deck off to the side, leaving space for a discard pile next to it. You are going to be shuffling up the hero deck. The hero deck are these larger cards with the little laurel wreath on the back. You're then going to place that next to the map. You are going to create a supply of all the different tokens. You have all the different resources, your happiness tokens, and your hero activation-y token things. Then, depending on player count, you're going to put a specific number of victory point markers into the lake. This being a 2-player how to play, you are going to go with 20. Otherwise, it's 28 for 3 players, 35 for 4 players. Each player is going to choose a color. They are going to put their starting little meeple here where the anchor is shown. Each player is going to get 2 story cards from the story deck. They're going to get 1 hero from the top of the hero deck. We are also going to grab 1 of each resource, a arcana, a food, a gold, and a knowledge. You're going to make sure you have enough room in front of you to be building out a tableau of cards. Your tableau is going to be at most 10 of the story cards and possibly 2 or 3 hero cards, depending on how many times you go about the map. So you're going to want to make sure you have a suitable area for all of that. Whoever last was told a story will get the first player marker. Or you can determine it randomly, however your group wants to do it. The game is going to play in turns, with each player taking a turn, choosing 1 of 3 actions as listed on the player aid that each player can have. Until the victory point tokens run out in the lake, you are then going to finish out that current round and score points for the victory points you have gathered and victory points on the cards. On a player's turn, they are going to do 1 of 3 things. They will then check for happiness and then refill the tapestry. So the first thing that they can do is they can discover which is playing a card from their hand. If you look at the cards, they have some information on them. Up here is going to be the cost it is to play them. They have various tags up here in the corner that relates to happiness and such. Down at the bottom, they're going to have the possibility of having an ability and possibly being able to have happiness. And as I already said, you have the victory points there. To play a card, you need to spend the resources in the top. You can get those resources a couple of different ways. You can spend the resources that you have already gathered in front of you. So in order to play the Shrine Maiden, I would need to spend a food and a knowledge. The Alchemist is 2 food. So you can just spend the resources you have. Arcana is wild and can be spent for any resource. You also can spend 2 of any resource as 1 of a different resource. The other option is you can discard cards from your hand to supply a type of resource that is depicted at the top, but only 1 resource, and you get to choose. So if I say I wanted to play this Alchemist, I could spend my food from my supply. I could discard the Shrine Maiden for the food in their cost up here, and then put out the Alchemist. So that's how you play a card. You're then going to see if the card has an instant ability, such as this Fairy Mound did. If it has an instant ability, you'll trigger that now. If it does not have an instant ability, you just have the card out. Your tableau is limited to 10 story cards. If you ever want to put out a card and you already have 10, you need to overwrite 1, which means you're going to discard it. You are going to grab a point marker and then play the new card. And one note about that is you can only overwrite if you have 10 cards. You cannot just choose to overwrite if you have less than 10 in order just to get the point. One other thing is when you gain victory points, you're going to have a victory token bag. You're simply going to put them in the bag to keep them hidden for the game to finally be revealed at the end of the game when counting final points. The next option for your turn is you can journey. Journey is going to be moving along the map. When you take a journey, in either order, you're going to move on the map and you're going to claim or exhaust a card. First, let's go over claiming or exhausting a card. So if you claim a card, you are simply going to grab one from the tapestry, add it to your hand, and then move. If you exhaust a card, you're going to see if any of your cards have an exhaust ability, such as this Relic Hunter. You are simply going to rotate them sideways and do what their ability on them says. Wouldn't be able to do the Relic Hunter for this instance because we do not have one of those tags out here, but that would be exhausting. So that's claiming a card or exhausting a card. The other thing you do when you journey is you move to the next space and get what's at the bottom, in this instance, a point token. In this next one, it is simply you're going to draw a card from the top of the deck. This campfire, this is where it will matter in what order you want to do those actions. So for this example, let's say we have the Hound of Tartarus here. So I'm going to say I want a journey. So we're going to go ahead and exhaust the Hound of Tartarus here. Play the card from the top of the discard pile, spending your resources as wild. So I wouldn't technically need to because I do have that. So we're just going to spend those and put them out. We would then advance to this campfire. Campfire, you do two different things. One, you are going to ready any exhausted cards. And then the second thing is any of your cards that have a gather ability, you are going to go ahead and do that gather ability. So the Alchemist gives me 2 coins. And this gives me one of each of those. So again, had I moved first, I would not, or had I moved first, this card right now would still be exhausted, and I would not have gotten the stuff from the Agora because that would have happened after I moved. The last one up here is the Laurel Wreath. That is simply going to be, you're going to grab the next hero card, adding it to your tableau. Coming down here to this last spot, that is simply grab 2 points, and then you would return over here to the anchor. So that is the journey option. Finally, you can quest. So this is going to be, you're going to exhaust one of your hero to perform their action. It is now, I believe, called a feat. Again, check the campaign page for all the updates and whatnot. So in order to do that, you are simply going to grab one of these hero tokens. You are going to place it on your hero and then do whatever their action says. This one is play one of these symbols without paying its cost, then receive its happiness reward. So in that instance, I could say, you know what, let's go ahead and play that one. And then their happiness is a coin and a point. So those are your 3 options to do on your turn. Now at the end of your turn, you are going to check for happiness on your cards. So the happiness requirements is listed at the bottom of the card. So for this Alchemist, they want 2 of these fire icons. Now some things about these things. One is a card itself cannot contribute to its happiness. So even though the Alchemist has a fire, I need 2 additional ones that are not on the Alchemist. The second thing is that one card cannot supply 2 different icons. It can only supply 1. So if I look at my Alchemist, 2 fire, I do have 2 fire. I'm going to take this happiness token, I'm going to place it on the Alchemist, and I'm going to get what is denoted on the bottom, in this instance, an Arcana and a point. If I have multiple ones that could trigger, I will do them all. The Treasure Hunter wants 2 of these treasures. I have none, so I am not able to make them happy at this moment. The other thing is they cannot get unhappy, so if in the future I somehow lose these 2 cards, the happiness does stay on the Alchemist. It does not go away. And at the end of your turn, you will refill the tapestry, so there are 5 cards in it. But again, the end game is going to get triggered when all of the tokens from the lake are gone. You'll finish out that current round, and then you're going to add up your points based on your little tokens you've collected and the points on the cards. Most points is the winner. All right, let's go into my thoughts and who I think might want to back this. All right, so there are the basics of Smallfolk. So this game originally brought us in with the adorable artwork, and then bringing us in with that adorable artwork really led us into a game that we really enjoyed playing. It's got all that fun stuff you want from tableau builders, of all these cards that have different powers and can interact different ways, that might trigger a different way. Like you have your instant cards that'll happen right when you play them. You have your exhaust cards that are going to happen as you journey along the map. Then you're going to have your gather cards that when you get to the campfire, you're going to get stuff. The campfires are a little far apart from each other, so you can't really fully bank on that. But once you get them and then you hit one of those campsites, then you get all these resources that just unlocks all these other possibilities for you. There's the possibility of having combo cards in it. There was a solo play I did where I was able to trigger this one card, that let me grab another card, put that out, and that instant effect allowed me to grab another card, and it just kind of chain reacted. So there are all those combos built into the cards as well. It's a game that I feel took like mechanisms from a lot of our favorite games, mashed them into one game, and then made this really cool game of. It's a game where I feel took different aspects of all of our favorite games, mashed them in, mixed them up, baked it, and came out with a fantastic game that's just easy to play, simple rules, gets to the table quick, plays quick, all of that fun stuff you really want from a game that they are calling a cozy tableau builder. And it really does feel like that cozy game of you kind of just building out this tableau and working out how you want to do stuff, what's going to make your people happy, what are you trying to grab, where are you going to look for, etc. In addition to all that, it has a fun solo mode. I did a solo play. I'll put a link to that up above. And they actually did just recently announce a new stretch goal to where they're even going to be making a more robust solo mode in addition, where they're going to have legends cards, etc., to really kind of, drive that solo experience home. And I will say I really did enjoy this one solo because it lets you play your own game. All it is simply there's this little token that's going to be moving around, discarding a card each round. So it plays very simple, very easy, allows you to develop strategies and maneuver how you want to, and really learn the game well. And so that's just, to me, a really good implemented solo mode of where you're not having all these extra rules or these different ways that things are manipulating. It's going to be your same basic way of playing. All right, so who do I think is going to want to back Smallfolk? Well, if you are into, as they say, a cozy tableau builder, so basically if you want a game where you can kind of just build out your little story and get the cards you want and have them trigger and develop your strategy that way, this is going to be for you. If you want a game that blends a lot of fun mechanisms of moving on a map, grabbing cards, paying for cards with cards from your hand, like I said, building that tableau, trying to get those chain reactions, then this is going to be a game for you. If you want a game with cool artwork from a bunch of different mythological beings and areas, then this is also going to be for you. If you want a family game that still feels like it has depth and strategy and needing to figure out how you want to play it throughout it, this is going to be for you. It's going to be, to me, more that light medium. The gameplay itself, again, easy to understand, but really the depth of strategy and how you're going to manipulate the cards and what cards you're going to grab when and where you're going to put them out, and are you going to use them for resources, or are you going to play them out? All of that is what adds that strategic depth and the possibility of complexity to the game. All right, so if all of that stuff sounds like stuff you like, or even just some of it, then you should go ahead and check out the campaign. A link down below. It is doing really well. They are adding a bunch of cool, fun stuff to the campaign as we speak, more than likely. So if you check out that campaign, you can see all of the fun stuff that is happening. While you're down there, if you could also please go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, comment, share, ring the bell. Let us know what your favorite mythological being is from any of the folklore around the world. Alrighty, now make sure you go and check out Smallfolk.